Hello, hello. Maybe we're not going. Oh, okay. I got too many things going. And there we go. Hello. All righty. So, I welcome you all to the morning. Thank you for logging in. This is another episode of the Midnight Technician. Alrighty. So, we've got a little bit that we did yesterday. We'll review that. But I'm also looking to do a bit of a setup this morning. Um, so we're going to talk a little bit about where we're at, where the project's at right now. But I also want to get into how to set up the project, how we can go from, I'm going to delete the project off of my Am I seriously, what? Am I muted? You can't hear me, Cassio? Yeah, yeah, it helps if you turn your volume up, Castiel. All right, so Castiel's experiencing some personal technical issues in the chat there when he's trying to listen to me. So we're gonna delete the entire project off of my computer, and we're gonna go ahead and clone the project fresh from GitHub. The idea is to show you how to get it set up, how to get your credentials, how to get your tokens from Sentry to get everything all set up, wired up. I did go over and create a little README last night, trying to explain how to set things up, how to get databases organized and set up. Because I realized when I had Z in a Discord call yesterday or the other day, and we set him up, and I realized that we need to set up databases, we need to set up this, and I didn't originally have all of the key details there, so my initial README was horrible. You can see that in the Git history. It just told you how to clone it and how to fork it. It didn't really tell you how to get everything set up. So today I am hoping to clear that up with a visual, as well as some guidance with my yeah. So first thing, let's take a look and see what I did yesterday with the README. We will get my ugly mug on the screen. Get this up. There we go. So let's open up the back end just as an example, since I'm deleting the projects anyway. So inside the README, I've changed this up so that it has some better instructions down here. So this is the part that we changed up, which was how to clone the project. I realize this text is super small and that you guys probably can't read that, but go ahead and check out the README um, online. So I guess it's probably easier to read on the left side. So in here we have the setup, how to configure your application and to get your DB credentials. So we go through some rough ideas on how to tell you to go where to go into the services module, um, into the source main resources to get to the SQL file. That's going to be how you populate your database. This is just populating it. I cleaned this up as well and got rid of all the extra data. So now we just start populating our services, as well as creating all of the applicable tables. I got rid of the tables that we no longer need, and just overall cleaned it up a little bit so that it's a little easier for everybody to get out of the gate. Then I've got some instructions for getting your databases all set up, getting configured with your Mongo database. We got some Sentry environments, how to set up your environment variables, and to how to get things going there, which I will walk through in a moment once we delete the project. As well as I've got some bare bone idea here for how you can contribute. I do actually have a more not more. I do have well, I guess a more detailed one in the front end about how to go about contributing. I need to review that again to make sure that it's proper guidelines on how to go ahead and contribute before I make that onto the. I wrote the two of them separate. I'll be honest with you. I wrote the back end one, and then I copy and pasted some of it into the front end one because I initially wrote two of them separate, and yeah, no. I need to touch it up so that it. In all honesty, I'm not that great with the README files. I just tend to vomit speak. So I'll get this cleaned up at some point today, maybe tomorrow. I don't know. I'll get it cleaned up in. I guess my best bet is to walk through it with somebody. Walk them through the step-by-step how to do it, so then I've got a clearer way of how to write a README for it. But either way, let's go ahead and I'm gonna open the project in Explorer so that I can close out of IntelliJ altogether. And I have this in my Midnight Technicians folder. I got a front end and a back end folder for them. So we're just going to go ahead and delete the projects altogether. And now you can see that they are no good. So we're just going to remove them from our IntelliJ. And we're going to go ahead and clone repository. So now here's where you would just enter the URL. For me, I have another way to do it. I can come in here and just search for these because I'm part of the actual thing. But let's go with the repository URL, and let's do this. I just type in Midnight? Look at that, Midnight Technician. All right, so once we're in here, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pop out the back end and pop out the front end. I also do want to point out, I did make a tech talk. This one here is so that we can have a discussion going in the GitHub. That was something else that I had done just to help with the community. So we're going to come in here to we'll start with the back end first. So I'm just going to take the link. Just going to copy that, go to IntelliJ, paste it in, and we're going to clone the project. Oh, shoot. Hold on. Shoot. Cool. I'm going to remove that because I totally didn't even. So I'm going to paste this, but we're going into. I got to go into my Midnight Technician. And then this was the back end. And we'll clone everything into here. This one didn't ask me about trusting the project because I've already trusted this directory. So we're going to let this import and set up. And then we'll get our database views all set up and connected. And there we go. So this was a fresh clone of the back end. So now Following these instructions, the next thing we need to do is get our databases all set up. So I'm going to pop into services, into source main resources. I'm going to pop into the SQL. So I'm going to pop into this first, into applications.properties. And because this is a SQL database with some Spring data source information, you'll see that there is a database button over here. So this allows me to just simply click it, and all of the data source information is auto-populated. I can press test connection, and we're succeeded. Now, I should probably point out that beforehand, before you do this, you do need to run Docker Compose. We use Docker so that we can spin up the databases. So here we have our Postgres database with a health check, and we have our Mongo database. The reason I don't have a health check on that is just to show you that you don't necessarily need it. So we're passing in our environment variables for our passwords and our username and passwords, which the way these are set up, you'll notice that it's using Postgres user, and then then it has a colon, a hyphen, and a default. This is how this little hyphen, this little colon hyphen is how you specify that if this environment variable does not exist, use this as a default. So that's all I was doing here, was just giving people a way to have a environment variable that provides a default value if one does not exist. That being said, I probably have to update my env.example to include the Postgres and Mongo information. That also technically needs to be put there. Anyway, so you would hit this little up here. There's an icon that has two little plus or two little green play buttons. You would click that, and it will spin up a Docker connection here, which you'll see is this backend one, which has my if I expand it, has my Mongo database and my Postgres database running in their own containers. So after you run this, it will reload, it will spin up your Docker container. Your PC should have virtualization turned on. I'm not going to go into how to turn that on because it's a BIOS setting, and I don't want to sit here and tell you how to get into your BIOS and change shit. So, yeah, just make sure you have virtualization turned on. You can check that. You can easily check that by going to your task manager, hopping into performance, checking out your CPU tab, and at the bottom, it'll say virtualization is either enabled or disabled. If it's enabled, you're good to go. Just install Docker, run this, and get yourself all set up. If you don't know how to set up Docker, let me know in the comments, and I'll make a video about how to get yourself all set up there. It is ridiculously simple. Yeah, so once you have your databases going, then you can come into the application.properties and get yourself connected to the Postgres database, which right now I actually have information put in here, which if I bring down this database, that should theoretically, yeah, get rid of that. Let me get rid of this. All right, so now if I come in here and if I hit this, you'll see that it'll go through and create, turn on, spin up, and now I have my Mongo and Postgres running. Now I don't know if I have the data in it, because I don't remember if I have that separated or not. But we're gonna make a new connection to the database. It was successful because the database is turned on. So now we can come in here, and yeah, my data was still stored separately. So even though I took my database down, data is still stored. That's kind of the purpose of this. This is telling it that Mongo has its own space and its own data and its own stuff outside of the container. So even if you update your database, this is again why Docker is so great. But anyway, if you want me to do a video on Docker, I can do that in the future. But this is getting us set up. So into here, we'll get rid of this, and you would just simply in here you would need to run this, but you need to connect with it. And I don't know why it's not popping up. It used to initially. When I opened this up, it would pop up that I have a data schema, and it would allow me to run this. But either way, you would just run this stuff. You would just click on your database over here. There is a jump to query console where you can just copy all this, throw it in here, hit the green play button at the top, and it'll create and populate all of the Postgres data for you. Next after that is to set up the Mongo database. So this one is a little more fun. So this one here, we're going to copy this URL. We're going to go up here. We're going to create a new data source for Mongo database. And we're just going to paste it right here inside of the address or the URL. Click on test connection. Give it a moment, and it should successfully connect. So now I have this connecting, it's loading up, and inside this console here is where you would be entering these commands. So this is where you would copy this and say you want to use the midnight employee, which will then create these two collections, or these two databases, sorry. And then inside of that, you would then just do the two database create collections, and that will create these individual collections here for you, so that you can now start hosting stuff to your database. So it's very simple, very straightforward. It does take a minute to get set up, and once you're all done, you're good for there, and that's your database is done. Next, we need to go into the environment variables. So this one is where we would go into the shared module, and I don't know why I did this. Don't grief me on it. I'll move it later to make it easier. But inside the shared module, there is a .env.example. If you open this up, you'll see that there's a Sentry auth token, a Sentry host, and a Sentry environment. These are the next variables that we need to set up. So how do we get these? We need to open up your browser, and we're going to pop over to sentry.io. You're gonna sign in or log in, whatever you do. If you have an account, sign in. If you don't, create one. All kinds of extra security there. So now from in here, you're going to create a project. In my case, I'm going to go look at projects, and I have two projects. I've got a private project that I'm doing, and I've got the Midnight Technician that I'm doing in this one. So in here, once you create it, you're going to be scrolling down, and you're going to look for your security auth token, and you're going to click to generate it. Then from there, you're going to copy that because you need it. You don't have to worry about the build script. I've already got that taken care of, and that's already in the project. So next, you're going to come down, and you're going to take this URL that comes up. You're going to need to copy that, because that is the host, or DNS. And then you're going to take that information as your security token and your host, and we're going to go up into edit configurations. This is just for IntelliJ, by the way. You can just change the .env file to just to remove the .example, and on Linux machines you can just install, or I forget how to do it on Windows. I don't shit with Windows very much other than my day-to-day stuff. But you can just assign this as your environments. But for us, we're going to come into here. We're going to pick our Spring Boot projects. We're going to take each of the individual, and I already did this and have my information. Yeah. So I've already got my information, so I just have it on my clipboard. So we're going to come up into more options, down to environment variables to turn them on. And then we're just going to, in here, you would use this little button to open up this interface, and you would just add in the token and the key, or the key value pairs here for your token and key. You would do that to add those all in. I've got mine copied in a string, so I'm just going to drop it in here. Make sure that in that environment is development for now. That's just because we're all in a development environment, not a production. This is because Sentry will actually help you sort things by development, by production, by testing, and like it'll help you sort things when you get errors, and I can do a whole video on what Sentry is, but that's kind of out of the scope of this topic right now. So getting the project set up, you're going to stick your environment variable into all of these services. So just give me a second here to fly through this. All right, so there's all that done so that my back end is now happy. And that's all there is to the setup. So from here, we can go into our services tab. And if you don't have Spring Boot in here already, you can just go to the plus sign, run configuration, scroll to the bottom, and find Spring Boot. You'll see that there are three different services here, or three different applications. These are microservices. So they all are. We can run them individually. It doesn't matter what order to run them in right now. There's no specific order. So technically, we can just click on the Spring Boot on the top, hit the plus button, or hit the play button, sorry, and it's going to fire up all three services one by one. You'll see it doing its magic there. Now you'll see that beside it, there's you're probably hard to see on my screen, but there's the employee service running on port 8082, services are running on 8080, and ticketing is running on 8081. So now these are microservices, and I know that gets thrown around a lot in the development community, and there's not really any like hard, this is what a microservice is. So microservices are essentially a bunch of small individual services or applications which make up a full project. If you want to think about it, it's like how you have many dishes that make up, like, I don't know this because I'm not fucking fancy, but you can go to like fancy 5-star restaurants and you can have like an entree and a this and a that and a whole bunch of dishes that make up a meal. That's very similar to what microservices are. There's a whole bunch of services or a whole bunch of applications that run concurrently, but they communicate with each other through HTTP requests or through message queues, which is what we're going to get into in a future video. In our case right now, we're keeping it very bare bones and basic so that you know the low-level side of things. And our services are going to communicate through HTTP requests. This is so that ultimately, it's as if you were, the way that Spring Boot does this, it allows you to think of it in a way as if you have a monolithic program and you're communicating with different modules within the program as if you're doing method calls, basically. Um, except instead of a method call, you're saying I want to go. I want this method is located at this address. So you put in a URL and you make a fetch request, or you make a get request, post request, put request, whatever. But the idea is that you're doing things as if you would when you're writing a single program. Things communicate through HTTP right now, but eventually they're going to be making um, events and topics that are going to be stuck into a message queue. So there will be different topics for ticketing, for services, for notification, for customer, for employee, for invoices. We're going to have multiple different services running later. Because right now we only have employee, ticketing, and the core services. Um, I intend to expand that into customer devices. I intend to add in invoicing, payment processing, scheduling. We're going to be adding a whole bunch of services in here, and then once we have a whole bunch of services, um, and we have say anywhere from 10 to 15 microservices running, that's when I'm going to start to get into Docker a little more, and I'm going to show how we can put each of these services into their own Docker container, and then we'll talk a little bit more about how we can organize and run all of these different Docker containers and how Kubernetes um, will make that into an easier process so that we can show you guys again the full scale of how to use um, everything that you would need in day-to-day real world examples and real world life. Um, yeah, so next we have all these services are running, as you can see. So the next mission is to get the front end running. So we're going to go, why did I close that? I'm going to go back into here and we're going to say new project from version control. We're going to go back to our browser. We're going to go to the front end. Yeah, this is the front end. And do the same thing. So we're going to copy this. We're going to drop it in here. Midnight Technician. This is going to go into the front end. Make sure I had that right this time. And we're going to clone this project. And here we go. Now we can pretty much ignore this README because we've already got our databases set up on our back end. This is going to tell us that we can connect to it here as well. And we very much can, again, connect to the database here if we want to. I mean, I don't always personally have it open in all of my projects, but I spend more time in my shared had just that. Yeah, that's right. Website, service, main, resources, applications. This will connect me to this database, data source, Mongo. Stick the Mongo database back in there. Get connected to it. There we go. So now I've got my database. Not that I needed it, but now I have the view in here as well. So, so I can see it on this project and the other project. But anyway, so once again, we will need to go into the website module here, and we will need to add the environment variables back into here as well. so that everything is happy. And now we can run the project. So if we come into here, again, if you don't have it here, run configurations, scroll down, Spring Boot. Now we have the website. So if we run the website, this should be all happy and smiley out of the box too. There we go. And this one you can see is running on port 80. So now all we have to do is just simply click on 80 and we are up and running. You can go ahead and register your account. I technically already have mine still, so I can just go into the login if I spell my name right. Great. Why is that saying I have an invalid? I don't know. Cool. Well, I must have messed myself up somewhere, so for the sake of it, ticketing, midnight, we're gonna say user and customer, because I'm gonna delete myself out of here and re-register myself, because I do not know why my password's wrong. But there we go. So now we're gonna go create a new account. There we go. And there we go. Now I'm back to where I was, back to everything. So now you can see here that we got the website up and going, front end. I can view this as a customer's point of view, see my tickets that I have open, see my devices I have registered. I can register a new device if I want to. I can register a new service ticket. I can, because I'm an employee, an admin, and a owner, I see these extra buttons. So I can go into the ticketing dashboard and I can see how many open tickets there are, how many active ones are going on. And then I can go into the admin dashboard here. This is the other thing that we did yesterday. So I can see that I have one employee, one customer, 4 open tickets, and nothing's been resolved. So in here I have as a manager or a supervisor, I've got a way to view the your list of current employees. I need to make it so that I can click on this and go to a page, but that's to come. Down here are all of the recent service tickets. These are service tickets that are opened within the last 7 days. And you can find out how I did all that in the code. So yeah, this is how to set up the program and how to get everything up and going. As you saw, it took me about a half an hour to explain all of that, so it should take you guys about maybe, I don't know, anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes to get everything set up, registered, and going. So now that is how you would clone the project and get yourself all set up from scratch. Next on this is just continuing on with the daily work on it and just kind of plugging away at it. If you want to contribute to it, you would just simply make yourself a new, after you've cloned it, you would make yourself a new branch. You can do so just simply by coming down here. I like to drag this up. Apparently branches have diverged. Cool. Oh, it might be my shared module one. So if I do an update, I personally always do rebase over merge. I just find it's easier and smoother. So now I do have to check out and see why it says things have diverged. Those are right. Oh, okay, well, now everything's happy. Cool. That was weird. All right, so if you want to make yourself a new branch, you would simply come in here, click on main, and you would do new branch from main. And you would name this some awesome new feature that you're looking to do, whatever the hell the name of that feature is. Make sure that checkout branch is selected so that you can be into the branch once you've made it. So in here, we would do some sort of whatever feature we want to call it, and we would create that branch, and then it would put you onto said new branch. So let's just, as an example, make a new branch, and I'm just going to call this dev glabe. Just as an example, I would then create it, and it would take me out into my own private branch now. Now I'm in my own branch. I can do my own code, write some changes, and then I would submit a pull request to be in here. So just as an example, um, no idea what I can change as an example. Sure. So please don't do just readme edits, by the way. Like, don't just come in and make a stupid little change that's like typically frowned upon in the open source community, and it makes maintainers have a headache of a time. So contribute something useful. So in here, I'm just going to say adds coffee. All right, so I would then commit that. It's going to complain about some stuff because it likes to complain. So we do that, go through. I'm going to ignore that for now. So I would come in here, and when I would go to make a push, I would be pushing to my own branch, which will happen. And then you'll see create pull request. This will come up and ask you if you want to create a pull request. You would click yes, and you would see here the pull request is coming. It's looking to go to the front end main from the front end dev branch, the dev glabe branch that I made. And this is the change that I did. So in here in the description, you would just simply write out something that I did to make an example. And then you would have to select who you want to review it. In your case, you would select myself. These other two that are on here are just junior devs that work for me that are looking to be a part of the team, and they're just looking to learn a little bit more. Ouch, white mode, dude. White mode is like a flashbang, like that hurts the eyes. I personally use dark mode for everything, um, simply because of the fact that it hurts my eyes if I have white mode on. Like I cannot stare at this computer for 16 hours a day on a white mode. God, that hurts the eyes. I open up a web page that has like even my web pages are dark mode thanks to Dark Reader. Because if I go to a website that's like a white loading page, that's that's a slap in the face. Yeah, dude, I work at my computer for long hours. I joke you not. You can even check out my walk of time page. Um, I've got a dashboard on here. We check out the leaderboards because there's actually a high score for devs. I'm up in rank 210 because I put in about 50 hours a week, with an average of 7 hours a day. This is just strictly typing. Walk of Time is a great tool if you want to keep track of your time and you spend in projects. It shows you all sorts of information. Your average time in each of the different things. It tells you all the different programming languages you touch, all the different projects. So if I was to look at like the back end project, you can see here where I spend my average time. You can see the languages that I spend and how much time I spend in each language, the IDEs that I use, whether I use just IntelliJ. You can see where I've spent a lot of my time, and you can even scroll through and see how much time you spent in each individual thing. Waka time is like a fucking huge thing. Um, I think my thing is just at Glabe. Yeah, at Glabe. Wakatime.com/@Glabe. You can see that since I've created this in August of 2024, I've put in almost 2,000 hours of code with an average of 5.5 a day. I'll stick my, here, let me stick that there for you, dude. Waka Time has you can get yourself set up with Waka, and it's got integrations for just about everything. Just about every IDE out there, every thing you can keep track of, even in Notepad, Notepad++, you can install that. You can install it into Slack. You can install it into a custom Discord that I personally don't recommend because I don't like third-party things like that. But you can put it into things like your Google Calendar and whatnot, and you can track all the time you spend as a developer in the different aspects of what you're doing. And it actually has a leaderboard where there is tens of thousands of developers that work every day. Like there's a guy that's on number 1 that puts in like, look at this, number 1 guy puts in 100 hours a day or a week, does 14 hours a day. Like that is mind-blowing. So I sit at my computer for about 16 hours a day, but I'm doing different things, not always strictly code, but I'm also doing some things that are not on the clock, that are like admin related sort of deals. I mean, if you want to get involved with it, dude, join the Discord and send me your GitHub, and I can get you on as on the project as a junior dev, part of the team, and you can have some accesses and whatnots. And you can be listed as part of the contributors to the open source project. I'm down for that. I'd love to inspire more developers to do so. So yeah, you would just come in here, select like either the development team or myself, and then they get selected as the pull request. So then you create a pull request, and that's it. That's it from your end. And then for me, I would see it here. I could come into it, see what was changed, and then I would, submit the request. And then I would come in and I would go about managing it, rebase it, merge it in with main branch, and then we would delete we generally delete the branch that is no longer tracked. I don't want to rename it. But now if we come back into the main master branch and go back into the README, it's not there. Why is it not there? It should have been merged in. Whatever. It gets merged in. And then one of us will make the push off to the master branch. And if you don't have a link to the Discord, there should be a link in the description of this video. I believe there's a link down near the bottom of the comment in this video for joining the Discord. Also, if you're a part of the Discord and you want to be a part of the live stream, I generally am also parallel live streaming in the Discord itself. Um, I'm here in a voice channel. Um, Feel free to jump in, join with me, and have a chat. And now I got to change all my shit because I realized I just put that up on stream. So cool. Now I got to change my tokens and whatnot for my personal backend part. So that's fun. Maybe I'll see if I can get someone to scrub that out. Cool. Totally just did that. Alrighty. So I guess the next thing I'm gonna pick at is, whoop, not opening that. Go into here, resources, templates. Oh yeah, that's just the different views. Okay, that's the different views that make up the customer dashboard. Yeah, and I gotta make another one of those too. Oh yeah, and I gotta do some JavaScript as well. Registering new employee. I guess I'll do. Let's separate this out like I did the other one. So employee management. Yeah, I gotta. Oh yeah, this is something else that I'm gonna be doing later. Is keeping track of the assigned tickets for each of the employees that are on. Am I still? How did I do that before for the on-click? That was it. Customers dashboard. Right, I wrapped that as a button. That's what I did. I wrapped the whole thing as a button. So was it the card I made into? Okay. That's what I did.
The way to follow along with the project, you can either subscribe to me to see when I go live and when I work on it. You can start the project itself on GitHub. The link is actually in the description. The Midnight Technician. It is a GitHub organization, so it is its own entity. You can get involved in the Discord community, where I am trying to sort of start a development community in general. There's a couple of hundred people in there already, but I'm trying to ultimately start a sort of dev-friendly community where uh, we're kind of focused on Java as the language, and I'm looking to expand do this project here. And then once this one is completed, I intend to start up another open source project as well that I haven't really decided exactly what I intend to do with it yet, but I'm going to be doing quite a bit more with this guy. It's definitely not about halfway because this just has microservices in it right now, just has HTTP requests going back and forth. I intend to add in Kafka as a messaging queue, and I intend to add about uh, at least 5 to 8 more microservices in here. But um, I plan to complete it throughout the course of these live streams. So I work on it every day. Um, and the way I'm trying to do this is in the mornings when I wake up, I live stream and I kind of review what we did or what I did the night before and kind of plan out what's going to be done. And then I will live stream me doing the work up until the point when my wife wakes up, just because of how my life is scheduled. Um, then I hang out with her for a little bit, and then I come back and I do more work on this, but I generally stream it to my Discord community, is where I'm 9 times out of 10 at. Because usually the way because neither my wife or myself, we don't work due to some medical issues. So I pretty much sit here and I love to teach and I love to, like, I personally have over 20 years experience with Java. And I've been picking at projects and doing things for decades. And I love to teach people. I love to encourage other people, and I love to see what other people come up with. I love creativity. I love creative people, and I love being around other like-minded individuals. So I decided to start up this community of similar like-minded individuals that happen to be addicted to code like I am. And I've also noticed that there's not very many who scale open source projects. There's a lot of small little projects that are good for here and there and this and that, and they're standalone projects. But I noticed that at least I couldn't find any open source projects that handled things like microservices and message queues and sort of let you explore a production ready application or environment. So I decided to create one with this project. So the idea is that a fictitious company um, wants to use is opening up. This fictitious company is opening up a service where they handle tech repairs, and so I wanted to make a piece of software, the Midnight Technician, that allows you to keep track of your customers. Your customers can add devices that they want to be able to service or keep track of, and they can keep track of the list of service tickets they've had, the devices that they've got, and that way they can also check in if they have like a gaming PC in for some work, or if they have like like any kind of IoT device in for some work. They can check in on the ticket, see if there's any notes there or anything that's been changed or altered or done. And then I also have to have a backside employee portal where employees can log in, see their the open tickets, the active tickets, the things that they're working on that are assigned to them, and as well as things that are unassigned. And I wanted a way for then also managers to be able to manage their employees and invoices and services, and then the owner of the company, I wanted them to be able to see things like um, invoice reports, revenue reports, things of that nature. So I intend to build a full to scale application. It's not going to be the prettiest because I personally am not a front end developer. I don't do very well with CSS and JavaScript. I kind of blob like a fish. Um, I'll be completely honest with that. I know my way around. I can do some basic things, but I am by all means not a front end or web developer. I am strictly a back end engineer. I do microservices, networks, servers, things of that nature. The front end aspect is kind of new to me. I'm learning as I go. But the back end spot is where I want to really shine and show people just how easy Spring Boot makes it. So, which is why I also chose to use the latest Spring Boot 4, since they've made some amazing leaps and bounds. And I also wanted to use Java 25 because that's the new LTS, and it is honestly, in my opinion, the best version of Java out there because they've made so many leaps and bounds with different projects like the concurrency going through virtual threads are amazing. No more platform threads. Oh my god, those were a nightmare to manage. And limited, holy shit. So I want to take all these new texts and these new modern styles of code, and I wanted to bring that into an open source project that other developers can like see, physically touch, get their hands dirty, and explore. Um, because the idea is that I want other people to have something. Because myself, I personally am a very hands-on learner. I can sit here and I love watching lectures. I'm kind of a nerd that way. I sit and I watch YouTube. I used to use sit and watch YouTube videos just in my morning thing, watching, drinking my morning coffee and trying to watch and learn. And I come to the conclusion that there's not what I want out there. There's a lot of this and that, but there's nothing that was what I was looking for. So I decided to make it. All right, dude. SQL is made super easy in Spring Boot as well. You can see how I'm mapping models like POJOs to a database with just 2 or 3 annotations. You can add more to be more specific if you'd like to, but uh, out of the box, it's crazy simple, crazy simple. And if you go to NoSQL, you get away with just 1 annotation. Dead simple. I love Spring Boot. Yeah, and that's honestly that's sort of like 80% of Spring Boot right there. If you know that, then you know enough to get yourself going. But yeah, I get that it's very hard to get a chance because it's almost like you can get an intern job, but you need experience as an intern to get an intern job, and it's like you're telling me I need experience to be an intern. Like there's it is kind of hard to get into the junior dev role with with next to no experience. Um, so I can definitely see how it is very demotivating. Um, personally, like, I like to again I like to teach. I like to teach people. I like to talk. So I mean, by all means, I really do encourage you join the Discord to be a part of the community and get involved with us. Like I kind of blog from time to time there, and I love to get involved and talk with people about planning out things and like what features would you like to see added and what one like how would you like to add it. And I would even help talk you and mentor you through adding your first feature to the project. Like I don't know, I like to teach. I do stream right around the same time roughly every day. I wake up at 7 in the morning Eastern time or 8 o'clock for me. Um, and I'm usually at my computer by 8:30 my time, which is 7:30 Eastern, and I usually start a stream around that time each morning. All right, dude. Have a good meeting, man. Oh, do I want to make this into a regular class object so that I can have a no-args constructor? Do I want to make you into a regular class? Do I want to make you into a regular class? Just hate that I... Fuck. Let's screw it. I don't even care. Okay, so should have kept you. So that's first name, last name. Email, I'm already asking. First name, last name, email, contact. Title, I suppose I need to. Position. Okay, so that should handle that. This is the data that I need to post. So now I need to get the person who is logged in. That is employee first name. Okay, so how do I how did I do that? All right, guys, I'll be back in a second. I gotta go top up my coffee cup. All right, I'm back. Sorry about that. I had to go top up that coffee cup. All right, so this should take care of some of the basic information I need. Cool, let's rerun the website and see if this at least somewhat looks right. Or see if it crashes, one of the two. Cool, cool. Nothing crashed. Nothing crashed. Okay, so since nothing crashed, let's see if we can crash it. Yeah, there's the crash. All right, so time leaf did not like template fragment could not be resolved. What did I name the fragment? I thought I named it that. No, I named it new employee. Of course I did. Let's call it that instead. Okay, let's go back to calling that new employee. There we go. If I call it the right thing, it'll work. There we go. Now I have a new employee. So now, in theory, if I click on it, nothing happens. Cool, so I goofed that up somewhere, somehow, someway. Hmm. So what did I do that goofed this up? Where did I have the other one? That was in customer dashboard. Ticket creation, that's not what I wanted. Customers dashboard. Ticket section. Yeah, no, I don't want that. I want the head. This is a button. Yeah. And I stuck all that shit in there. So I got the button. I stuck this shit in here. This is supposed to style this. Which is in here. Okay, so now this is back to looking normal, but it's not making a pop-up. Oh, it's not defined. Okay. So if it's not defined, where did I screw up at? Admin dashboard. So that's not defined? What? Open new employee model is not defined. Open new employee model. Oh, fuck. That's what I forgot to do. So where did I import that here? This is what I mean, guys. My JavaScript is so fucking outdated, like out of style. Oh my god. This is why I don't like fucking front end. I forget too much shit. I forget too many things. Alright, let's go. Yikes. Yikes. Cool. My contact email is Mike. Ah, okay. I got a few things to fix with that. Alright, so let's what else am I missing on here now? Missing a style sheet, I think. This is looking kind of yikes. Don't like the looks of it. I don't like the looks of it. Nasty and horrible. Alright, how can I make it look better? How can I make you look better? It definitely does not look like my... The idea there was to try to... Oh, well, I gotta log in again. The idea here was I wanted to make it similar to this little pop-up. Something like this. But instead I got this. So, what am I forgetting as far as styling goes? Customer dashboard. It's probably this guy. If I had to bet. But let's... I might have things named funky. Yeah, there we go. I don't know why my X is the entire length. This X should be over here, but instead it's the entire length. I don't know why, but if somebody could explain that or wants to make a pull request to fix it, cool. But here we go. So here I need to make this uneditable. Uneditable. But here we can fill out some employee information and create a new employee. Cool. So yeah. Now, the only thing extra that I have to do is so now I need to build the cheeky hack to do this. So now we need to go into our API request, because if we look in our JavaScript, we're making a call to API employee, which is an internal call. So we're going into our API request controller. Fuck. There we go. And here's where we're going to create a new similar request that we're doing here to make a new employee. So in here, we're just going to simply, I suppose, copy one of these guys. So we'll highlight all this, Control D to duplicate, and we'll just call this post new employee. And this is going to be employee, and this is going to be to our employee service, which can be found on our back end. No, not the front end, the back end. And it needs a request. So this is it here. So it is employees, and we're making a post request with the employee DTO body. So this is where we're going to fix that to leaving that as employee, fixing this to employees, and making sure that we're posting. This is going to be an employee DTO. And so we need to make sure that we go back into our JavaScript, and I need to change this a wee bit. Make some new lines here to give myself some room. I need to get a copy of the back end. Where are you at? Hello, where are you? Come see me. Thank you. Okay. So now we need to mimic this information, basically. So let's, come on now, work for me. Work with me. I hate this mouse. Oh, fuck off. Seriously? Come on now, like, piss off. There we go. Oop. Okay, so. Because I only need some of this information, I don't need all of it. Some of it can actually remain empty. Yeah, Castiel, man, my gaming mouse is like, I don't know. I use middle mouse click a lot as a developer. Like, a lot. In IntelliJ, you can middle mouse click to jump to things. Like if you click on something, you can hold Control and do the same thing. But like I like having one hand on the mouse and just I can like middle mouse click to do things. Or if I middle mouse click and drag, it'll middle mouse click and drag. Like this is why it's fucking wonky. It should let me do multiple carrots like that, so that I can edit multiple things in one foul swoop. Yeah, like when I play games like fucking RuneScape, I can't middle mouse click and drag my camera around. I have to use the arrow keys. It's frustrating as hell. I need to get myself a new mouse, but quite frankly, I'm too fucking poor. I'll be honest. Here we go. So this is the dummy data that I need to send. The employee ID will be generated by the back end. Profile picture can be edited later. I should provide a default one, but quite frankly, I don't have one. This one here is keeping track of who created the initial person, and theoretically, whoever created it is also the last one that updated it. Status, they're an active employee, and the rest of this information is generated by the back end. So this is all the information that we need to send as far as our Pojo goes for here. So we are now taking this data, this JSON, and passing it in as the body of our post request to here, so that now we're going into our database, into our API request, and we have a employee DTO body. So we're taking that body and we're throwing it in here to pass it along to this microservice in the back, which is running on port 8082. So now we're going to send this off and we're going to get a something back. What are we getting back? We get, I believe it's an employee DTO back. Yes. So if I tell it that, good, do this, dashboard. So this is, I believe it was admin dashboard or dash. Yeah, where do we go? Where the hell were we? Dashboard/admin. So we sent the person back to where they came from. Perfect. So now if we rerun the website side of things, should be able to pop into here. And I should refresh this. Add a new employee. So now I should be able to hit submit employee and it should not break. Employee created successfully. So now if I refresh this page, I should see a second employee. Just like that. And if we pop into our backend here and into the database, go into the Midnight Technician, employee, collections, we pop into employees, we'll see that we have 2 employees in here now. So I can pop this into a tree view. We can take a look at the second employee. This was the one that I just created that was for Glabe. And we can see here that it It's an employee class. It's got the contact number, the created date and time when it was just done. You can see that, and you can actually see where it took a second. So it was created by Mike Glabe, me. The email address, and then there's the employee start date is actually a different time than the creation time. You can see where it seems to have taken what 20. No way. Oh, employee start date. That's just local date. That's why it's got 0 time. Okay. My bad. My bad. Because that's just keeping track of the day, not the time. This is all date and time. Okay. Yeah, that's why. So you can see here that it was updated by, and everything is good except for the image URL, which I did not provide. As of right now, you can give them any role that you want. I would have to make either an enum or a database table to store the different positions that are within the company if I wanted to make it so that it was a hard-coded select, like a drop-down select list. I would need to provide some defaults, and the best way to go about that is either through an enum value or either through an enum or through a database table just to store it. So then that way I can just make this into a drop-down list and you can just select which position you're assigning them. But as for now, it's just a string value. So theoretically, you can put anything in there and it would work. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. So next thing I need to do is add another button to this to maybe view all and make a specific page that you can view these employees, which might wind up being done later today off stream. I got about a half an hour or so left before I'm going to be wrapping things up. But love you, Castiel. Just read your message. All right, so if any of you guys happen to have some input or want to like put input into this, feel free to join the Discord community. You can also join me on a stream if you wish to chat with me live and your 2 cents in, ask questions, tell me why I'm wrong if I'm wrong. Feel free to join the community. I encourage people to take part and join. Okay. Cool. So now we got a way to make new employees. Gonna have to make a way to view them soon. Gonna have to make a way to tickets. Okay. Ticketing, viewing. I gotta make a ticket view as well so I can view these in more detail when I click on them. Okay, maybe I'll make a ticket view next so that I can view information. ticket. It's another section there. So for each ticket, doing this, but I need to wrap these in a button. I think. Is that gonna look weird? Technically, I don't need that. Yes, theoretically. I just need this to go to a href, technically. I think that's... Oh, how do I use a time ref? Fucking... How do I use a reference to another link in... Fuck. Oh, how have I done that in the past with just a reference link? How did I do that before? I know I did this in another one. It's just a link, just a link. Oh, it's action. Action. That's how I did that shit. Do I need the ref to be? Just href. That's the action hashtag method post. Yeah. Will that still work, Mike? Let's find out. Fuck around to find out. All right, so ticketing. Jesus. Okay, maybe I shouldn't have made it like that. Maybe I should have just stuck a. Maybe I should have just made that view details. Now where's that gonna stick that though? Oh, fuck around and find out. Sweet. So we're gonna take that and drop it at the bottom instead. Yeah, that should look a little better. Maybe. I'm hoping to stick this next to time if I can. Over here. That's what I'm aiming for. Of course not. Fiddle fuck. How do I stick that beside it? Okay. How did I do that in here? That is just a regular customer view. Customer ticket creation, device registration, devices, tickets. Oh, it's just sticking. Okay. There we go. View details. Oh no, it doesn't do anything. Shit. How do I make a button? How do I make this button go to this page on click rather than just I forget how I've done this in the past. It is a button that I'm looking to do this as. I've got this as a form action. This one's specific. If I make it into an A, that I don't want to fuck things up. Oh well, I'm okay to screw things up once in a while. Let's see if we can pooch the dog. It might no longer look like a button, but it's probably going to say view details. Yeah, now it just says view details and doesn't look like a button. Alright, well, how do I make this into a... Try that, sure. See if that does anything better. Ask ChatGPT and it tells me to make it into a... to make it into an anchor link. See if that makes a row of beans difference. It's there. Takes me to a page like I want to, although I don't want it right there. How can I make that? Shit. Do I stick it in there? Does that make it go side by side? So I just don't want it to be on top of each other. I mean, I got the desired output that I wanted. Now I just don't want it right there. I want it beside it. There we go. That's what I want. Perfect. Perfecto, perfecto. Okay. So now it's going to take me to the ticketing ID. Although I want that to go, I suppose I want that to go to an employee's view of the ticketing, not just a ticketing view. So I'm going to have two separate ticket views, one for customer and one for employee. Okay. Okie dokie. So my wife's about to wake up in the next 10 minutes or so, so I think I'm going to wrap this up here. And I'm gonna pick at this throughout the day, adding in these other views so that we can view tickets, and then I might copy paste to that and do the similar thing for employees for an employee view. Um, you guys want to follow along with me today? I will be active in my Discord throughout the day. Um, I'll be streaming my work in there as I go through this today, and yeah, I I guess I'm gonna wrap it up here, and we will pick things up tomorrow, same bat time, same bat channel, and we will continue on our caffeinated journey of creating this technician software. Um, so if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button so that you can be notified when I go live in the mornings. Hit that like button if this happened to have taught you anything or if you happen to have liked it. Um, and I will catch you in the next video tomorrow. Keep that coffee cup full, curiosity sharp, and keep on learning.